This is the 9th in a series of videos about the business of the eyecare service. Module 9, Planning Outreach, Part 1 of 2. The learning objectives in this module are to know the rationale for an outreach service, know the steps involved in planning outreach, and to know the necessary pre-outreach activities. Community outreach in eyecare is the practice of conducting eye events to eliminate needless blindness and visual impairment at the patient's doorstep. It is taking healthcare to that part of the community which has no access and awareness of such services. By involving local community as partners, ownership by the community is created. Planning outreach involves multiple steps and should include 1. Determination of area of jurisdiction. 2. Collection of baseline information. We must have an idea of service area population, prevalence and incidence of blindness, cataract, surgical rate, etc. 3. Selection of potential locations for outreach. The outreach organiser should select and suggest the places to conduct outreach based on the population and accessibility. 4. Identification of community-based partners. And 5. Motivating partners. The outreach organiser approaches potential partners, judges their capacity to conduct an event based on their interest, access to manpower, etc., and then works to motivate them to agree to support an event. Six, clarification of commitments on the part of the eyecare institution and the community partner. The responsibilities of the partner need to be clearly stated in writing and agreed upon. Publicity, outreach site arrangements, hospitality for the clinical team, volunteer support and food, and the eyecare institution's inputs must all be clearly outlined. 7. Communication with partner based on the organiser's pre-planning. The outreach manager considers the availability of resources and the feasibility of running the event and communicates with the partner to confirm the date, time, venue, and other requirements such as publicity, volunteers, furniture, hospitality, and patient mobilisation for screening. 8. Planning of required manpower and logistics. The outreach manager takes responsibility for scheduling the clinical team, arranging transportation, and organising food and accommodation. 9. Conducting of the event. The outreach organiser is responsible for orienting the volunteers to their tasks and the flow of the event, briefing the clinical team on the location and venue, the partner's background and contributions, facilities available and expected workload, and ensuring that the event runs smoothly. And 10. Delivery of glasses. The outreach manager ensures that manufactured glasses are delivered to patients at the outreach venue on a second date. It is useful to perform a rapid needs assessment for starting up outreach. This process considers staff available, outreach organiser, clinical staff, transportation, administration, resources available, financial, office, communication, transportation, equipment, and geographic areas to cover. Reaching the unreached in unserved places. What radius or distance from the base hospital, and what geographical target population. Population and epidemiological statistics are available. Partners available for publicity, volunteers, furniture setup, hospitality, transportation of patients, and any preferred days or seasons. If so, these should be specified with a rationale, and organisational steps and strategies in place for successfully planning the events. Also, are there implementation steps in place for success? Are guidelines for partners well communicated? Will there be cost recovery from provision of glasses to those who desire and can afford personal choice? Is there data collection in place for monitoring and evaluation? The time and location of the glasses delivery must be clearly communicated to patients at the time of dispensing. And the outreach manager is responsible for collecting all relevant data from all relevant staff and generating final reports on each outreach. The manager must also send reports to various departments and senior management of the eyecare institution, country director, government agencies, NGOs, donors, etc. The planning of outreach events entails a 4-phase approach. Phase 1, pre-outreach activities. Phase 2, outreach day activities. Phase 3, post-outreach activities. And Phase 4, follow-up activities. Pre-outreach activities. A pre-outreach activity checklist ensures that every task is completed for every outreach. Identify target locations, list potential sponsors, contact sponsors, assess sponsors' viability, ascertain that sponsors understand their commitment, and agree upon a suitable event date and time. Collaborate with sponsors to create a planning timeline. Estimate event size and its corresponding needs. Select an outreach venue, for example, a community building such as a school. Design a publicity campaign. Plan event logistics. Plan site facilities. And order and gather all necessary equipment, supplies, and medications in advance, including administrative forms. Also arrange catering for personnel with the sponsor. Organise transportation of equipment and personnel. Arrange meetings on preparations with relevant personnel. Decide on data to be collected at the event and how. Visit the venue ahead of time to ensure smooth operation. Identify sufficient volunteers for an effective publicity campaign and to help out on the day, and prepare for the clinical team and support staff departure. This is a proposed timeline for things to do before an outreach event. 1 to 2 months before the event, find your sponsor, select your location, and fix your date. 3 to 4 weeks prior, select the event venue, decide on the event time and schedule, and design publicity campaign. 2 to 3 weeks before, hold your coordination meeting at your base hospital. 1 to 2 weeks before, visit the venue, meet the sponsor, go over publicity and the event logistics. 3 to 7 days before, launch your visual publicity campaign. And 1 to 3 days before, launch your audio publicity campaign. A pre-outreach team meeting might cover the reason for having selected the camp location, what population will be targeted, how many patients are expected, how many eye disease and refractive error cases are expected. Does the event have the capacity to handle this many patients? Compare your available resources, considering your sponsor's capacity, to your expected need. And are special logistical needs taken care of? Catering, transportation, equipment, needed furniture, etc. Does the clinical team's departure need to happen a day ahead of time if it's distant? And is the accommodation arranged? Are sufficient personnel ready and available? What's needed to prepare the publicity campaign? Posters, banners, and flyers printed, audio announcements created, etc. What local health, education, and social services personnel in the target area should be contacted for further assistance for organising the event, the publicity, and the follow-up? And what is the schedule for follow-up with glasses? When it comes to determining the location of an outreach event, take the following into consideration. The location should be based on both need and feasibility. Need is defined by census data, government status reports, and demographic studies that map the prevalence of eye disease per geographic area. Self-selection, when a village solicits an outreach event, is another way. Successful outreaches are usually centrally located in villages populated by 3,000 or more people and surrounded by another 10 to 20,000 in smaller villages with road access. Feasibility is just as important as need. Key to successful outreach rests almost entirely on having strong local sponsors because they ensure publicity and high turnout. Locations are selected to target need as systematically as possible within the crucial constraint of strong sponsorship. In practice, outreach is held where capable, enthusiastic, and professionally minded sponsors are found. Proper site selection ensures an eye camp attracts maximum number of patients and operates to its full potential. Physical accessibility, especially by public transportation, are important considerations. Sponsors with in-depth knowledge of the area are an unmatched tool at this stage of decision making. Preferable sites should have good roofing and be equipped with furniture, water, electricity, and toilet facilities. Consider room size for checking vision, electricity, mains or generator with plug points is preferable for equipment and fans. Ensure no other functions will be taking place at the building on the planned day. And contact the necessary authorities well in advance to apply in the proper format for permission to use the building. Choose a suitable date at least 1 month in advance to allow for proper planning and publicity. Consult sponsors and other community members on local holidays, festivals, harvest periods, or any other negative factors. Make sure that the date also works for the base hospital and agree a date with the sponsors. Ensure there will be no important activities in the area at the same time that could affect patient turnout. Allow enough time in the morning for the clinical team's travel from the base hospital and their setup. If possible, have volunteers clean the venue and set up furniture the evening before. Outreach days last, on average, about 6 hours. Spread outreach over the year to relieve congestion at the base hospital and to spread the work of the outreach organisers. Do not plan too many outreaches when the base hospital is experiencing its busiest time of the week or the month or the year. Do not compete with special holidays, festivals, harvest times, major sporting events, religious events, or elections. Climatic conditions can affect outreach attendance, for example, in the rainy season or the hot summer. Keep in mind the schedules of potential partners. For example, schools and teachers are busiest at the beginning and the end of the school year and at exam times. If possible, take advantage of special days, such as the United Nations World Health Days, and any workplace-based outreach timing needs to be considered. For example, school screening clinics can only be held when schools are in session and not possible during the holidays and the exams. Schedule other events in which outreach personnel may be involved before finalising outreach dates in order to avoid conflicts. Find out what other outreach activities have been conducted in the proposed location in the past, their results, and whether they might affect your proposed outreach event. Consider conducting regular, monthly or bi-monthly outreach in the same place, with the same or a different sponsor each time. This increases productivity, reduces the cost of publicity, creates awareness, and increases the glass's acceptance rate. That concludes Module 9 on Planning Outreach, Part 1. Coming next is Module 10 on Planning Outreach, Part 2.